Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to, well, quite literally an impromptu video from a place called Holdenhurst Road in Bournemouth. The reason why I took the time for a quick couple of minutes just to do a quick video is because I wanted to show you something that highlights a point I was making when I was pointing out, looking at the sides of streets, and you can see windows below street level. And of course, and not just mine, but the contention of many is that you would never ever build your basement walls or your foundational walls with windows in them, because that would, well, just by having windows in would in that moment weaken the structure, or certainly wouldn't deem it as safe as without windows, let's put it like that. So anyway, and of course there were all sorts of rebuttals. For example, well, the engineers lifted all the roads up, which, yes, I agree with that. They would have had to lift the roads up because they would have had to align the roads somehow to then achieve things like stairways into the front porch or whatever of a house, because these houses here on my right, for example, they go down below ground, these things. But I just wanted to show you how much of the road they would have actually lifted in reality, right? Which means quite clearly the rest of the ground has lifted significantly. It's not just that the engineers have lifted the road up, because they didn't lift 10 meters of road up, or 15 meters, or even more than that in some places. They literally added maybe a couple of yards, 3 yards maybe, perhaps. What's that? 6 feet, 7 feet, something like that, maximum. This is here, this is less, as you can see, but that's about as deep as the roads go before you start getting past the piping. That's it. So the tarmac on the top there is about 4 inches thick, 5 inches thick max, and then you got another layer of a mixture of all sorts of things. Then under that you got another layer, and then you got all the stuff, and then below that is evidence of brick. Can't see it from here very well because the light isn't ideal. But the point I'm making mainly with this is that this is about as high as they would have raised any roads. This thickness. Certainly in the times that we're told, with the methods at their disposal through their technological limitations and all that, it just would never ever have been possible. Ever. Never ever. Not that I like to repeat myself. It's a real chicken and egg thing, because first of all, you would have had to have come up with the idea of making these tools in the first place. What tools are you making, manufacturing? Where are you getting your skilled labor from? Don't forget, and I like to go back to this point, and I think it's very, very, very important. School systems didn't get rolled out until the early 20th century, right? And literacy in general didn't start taking hold of the population, if you can call it that, until very slowly the 1850s, 1860s, 1870s, right? Certainly no schools, not for normal people, not for everyday people. They didn't go to schools, they didn't get on a school bus and all that stuff. That's not how it worked. So if you haven't got an educated, a ground-educated population, then where are you then getting your higher educated people from? Because you need your primary education before you have your secondary, before you have your higher. Or am I missing something here? Because I've had a lot of people say, well, you don't need people to be able to read and write when they're building stuff and bricks and all that. That's not the point I'm making. I'm looking at the bigger picture. Where are you getting your expertise from in the first place if nobody can read and write in the first place? Right? But anyway, so if we have a look down here, if I can show you, please. Thank you. Unbelievable, yeah. So if I can show you this. So I was just commenting on a mother there with 2 kids, and the whole pathway at their disposal, but of course the kids want to hang right next to my foot, staring at me while I'm holding the camera and I'm talking to you. Was I like that? I probably was. So it goes to show you that when they talk about raising the levels of roads, there isn't much more to that raising the levels of roads than this. That's about it. And like I say, you wouldn't have had the capability to do it in any case. So yeah, the ground levels have definitely come up all over the place, and they've obviously leveled up here or there. They've had to, of course, you know, all this wouldn't work if we didn't, right? Anyway, I thought I would just bring that to you because I thought that was quite an interesting yeah, little sort of observation, really, more than anything else. So that is no more than 3 feet deep, 4 best, at best even. Anyway, I shall leave it there. Excuse the very, very brief interruption. I must work on my tolerance for children. Oh dear. Well, there we have it. I just wanted to show you that a little bit, just to see, so you get a little. All right, there we have it. So, on a quite nice Friday evening from Bournemouth, on a day with blue skies and no funny business, which makes a lovely change. I hope you've all been having a good week. I hope you all have a lovely weekend that's approaching. I hope you all take it easy, and I hope it all remains as serene as possible for you. I shall leave this here. Yet more roadworks, of course, is the underlying message to all of this, which is not something I even mentioned. But yeah, absolutely. Let's say, rolling out of whatever it is they're installing continues. Okay, so on that note, thank you very much for popping in and taking a peek. I shall see you all soon, some of you sooner. Until then, take it easy, speak to you then, and ta-ta for now.